Hey guys. Hi, Katie. You look so cozy and cute in your sweater.
I was just thinking I was going to get all dolled up, and then I just applied some lipstick and threw my hair in. I was
Bun
like,
and done.
I threw on some earrings and lipstick, and that's as good as it's getting.
Yeah. Well, it looks super cute.
All right, I'm gonna make a quick cup of tea while we're waiting for everybody to get on.
Yes.
Yum. What are you making?
I think it's live-in ginseng.
Ooh. Did you get a new chandelier?
When we renovated the kitchen last year, so it's
Yeah. I haven't seen it in person yet. It's gorgeous.
Is that your office, April?
It is, yes. I feel like the whole new house is put together except for the office. So that's kind of my last.
I was going to say it looks great.
That's
Thank
really
you.
fast. You just moved in like 2 seconds ago. You've already got it all ready to go.
Yeah, I'm a ninja. And decorating's my jam. So
Hey Shay, how are ya? Good to see you.
Good. How are you doing, Kelly?
Good. Did you have a good holiday?
I did. I did absolutely nothing.
Oh my gosh, isn't that the best? I know. Kevin and Brady just got back from a ski trip, and it's like normally I'd be totally jealous that they were out of town for the last 5 days, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to leave my house. Like my vacation is a staycation. I tuck in the wintertime. I'm so antisocial, and I just like lots of good books, lots of just working from home on a couch with a blanket.
Awesome.
It's very nice. Hey, Janine. Hope you had a good event today. You look like you're muted right now, but hope it went well, Athleta. Yeah.
There I am. Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my event was actually on whatever day it was raining, Saturday.
Oh, it looked like the video was from today. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. It was good. It was actually, I got a lot of attention, made some great sales, and I don't know, Athleta always works out for me pretty good.
That's great.
So, I mean, it's not huge, but it's, community pop up and meeting some new customers.
Yeah,
so
I
that
need
worked
to book
out.
some I need to get back out there. I was pretty good at it, but during the holidays, but I need to book some more pop-ups.
Yeah. So I was a little behind in getting, sorry, I'm trying to get my nighttime routine done so that I can settle in and concentrate.
You're totally fine. You're and I will actually dive in, guys, because it's only 8:32, so I'm sure we'll have more people joining us. Donna, who's going to also share her top tips, will be joining us as well.
Are we recording for any of the girls that can't make it?
Yep, it's recording. It's been recording since the beginning, so everyone will hear our pre-party talk. But yeah, I'm so excited to get on here and share with you guys. And Jen and Amanda, I can't see your faces, but thank you so much for joining us today. And feel free, like anyone who has any questions, to unmute yourself. For those of you who I don't know, I'm Kelly Cox. I am, well, gosh, I think I've promoted one level, whatever sales squad coach, I think is what I am right now. I used to be a platinum director with Stella and Dot. And while we're waiting for other people to pop on, I want to introduce or kind of share with you guys something that just happened literally the Friday that I got to Hoopla. So, and it's honestly so exciting. Hey, Donna, glad you made it. So we have got this amazing, and you see two of their faces right now, Katie and April, and Kimmy's on their team as well. We've got this team called the Glow Getters, and they were one of the top leadership teams at Ever. And we were lucky enough that they are joining our team. So April and Katie were stars back in the day before Ever started with Southern Charms. And they were total powerhouses and decided to go over to Ever. Both of them were top vice presidents, founding leaders with the company, 8 or more years. I know, April, you were 8. Katie, you're like probably getting close to 10, aren't you?
I think I'm around 8 too.
You're 8 too. Okay, so y'all are both right at the same time. Literally, Mike Lohner called me with the official word as I was landing in San Francisco. And I cannot tell you what a huge asset this is going to be for all of us, because they are the best of the best in ever. We have so much to learn from them. And I know they've got this amazing team who is really excited to learn how to rock their Sell and Dot business from all of you. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today, and this is what I want everyone to know who watches the recording and who's sitting on here now, like, coming out of Hoopla, I was probably just like you. I'm going to kind of change away from the lights a little bit. It's a little bit of a glare. I feel nothing but calm. I am like calm and excited. Like I think all of us Q4 were a little bit like deer in the headlights. Like, what's happening? What's happening? How do we do this? Like, you know, it felt a little bit overwhelming. And now I could not be more excited. And I also think it's going to be so much simpler than we all think. And a huge, huge asset for all of us. So that's how I want to kind of start this call, is so all of you know, if you are feeling a little bit about like, oh my gosh, how am I going to learn a new product? How am I going to learn this? How am I going to learn that? Like, take a deep breath. It's exactly what you're doing already. And we're just going to figure out a few top tips from the ladies on the call today that were helpful to us, things that we heard at Hoopla. But overall, I just have a very strong feeling that this is a new day, a really exciting day. And I just feel, like I said, calm and excited. I think it's going to be amazing. And so I'm going to introduce to either one of y'all. Who wants to go first? April, Katie, or Donna? Whoever wants to pop on, tell us a little bit about you, and then dive into your top tips, and then I'll kind of close it up based on anything I think that I want to add.
I think I'll go first. Oh, sorry, Donna. Unless
Go ahead.
I think I know what April's talking about, and so I think I want to go before April, because what April's talking about will make more sense after I talk. But Donna, if you want to go first, go ahead.
Okay, I will pop on then. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm Donna Naylor, and this is my 10th Hoopla. So I was one of the last minute ads because I had a bunch of family stuff that I was juggling, but I get so much from going to Hoopla, and when I saw a window open up and the flights worked out, I was able to jump on and go and room with Victoria and Kelly, and I had so much fun. So I'm going to put a little plug in for Nashville. For anyone sitting on the fence, you will absolutely love it. It will do so much for you, for your business, for you personally, professionally. And I told Kelly, I said, honestly, I just need to get away too. So this was it was really fun, but I learned a ton. I wanted to kind of just recap big picture for a little bit. I joined Sell and Dot 10 years ago, and it was actually the first Hoopla when I heard Mike Lohner speak. As much as I love Jessica, as much as I love Blythe, it was just Mike that kind of like reeled me in, and I absolutely just love him. And we have such a dynamic, like, depth to our leader organization. And we now have Jordan Bell, who is our chief brand officer, and she used to work at Pottery Barn. And I took some really key notes from her, and I wanted to share those with you guys. By no means does this replace the pass that you guys can get for $29. So absolutely do that. It's worth every penny, so you can actually see and listen to more of what we heard in person. But some of the things that I thought were just big highlights that I took away was listening to some of the partnerships that we've done. And with Nordstrom alone, the last like pop-up partnership with that, Nordstrom has over 8 million views in a week. So Sell and Dot was absolutely like really explosive with Nordstrom this year. And so we've had just an opportunity to really expand our brand awareness. And I think you all will see that trickling down. We actually have 600,000 customers this year, which was huge. And some of our biggest sellers, we sold 250,000 Crush It backpacks, 43,000 Sparkle studs, 15,000 Julia coin necklaces, which I actually usually have on, and 11,000 Alexandra chandeliers, which is kind of crazy. I will plug Keep for a minute because I've always done Stella and Dot, but it just blew my mind that we sold 10,000 turtle charms. And I was talking to a Keep former designer ambassador at our Raleigh meetup, and she said as soon as that turtle released, it's like it sold out immediately. It's like everybody had to have a turtle charm. And then Keep also engraved 28,000 items, which was huge. Jordan also talked about what we're seeing as just being really like popular, and our biggest growth areas are bags and earrings. In March, we have this super cute, game-changing tote / clutch coming, and you're going to love it. It is amazing. And then one thing that Jordan really talked about that I actually sat down is like the trends overall for 2020, not just with Stella and Dot, but just as a whole, like what the trends are. And one was community building is more important than ever. When women support each other, we know incredible things happen. And that was one thing that she really focused on. And that's what we're seeing like across all brands is women supporting women. And, we are a community, come as you are. And that's really what we want to focus on is how inclusive that Stella and Dot is. 2, consumers want a brand experience. And, what makes you shop? And they used the example of why did you go into William & Sonoma? And it's like, because you smell the apple cider brewing, and it's like an experience. You can go in. So you will have like consumers wanting an experience, and not just like always going to Amazon, but they like an experience as well. And you have 3 different ways now a customer can experience our brand, which is a personal shopper, in-person, pop-ups, and virtual events. So that's kind of 4, but personal shopper, in-person, pop-ups, and virtual events. So I really wanted to focus on those 4 different ways that you can kind of come as you are and do what you want, but really that they're looking kind of for that personal shopping experience and someone to actually understand them and what they're looking for and help them curate a look. So that's really on trend, not just with Stella and Dot, but across all brands, and we are perfectly aligned for that. 3, hyper-personalization. She noted that Rebecca Minkoff did a pop-up in New York City with no product. It was just coming in and doing something and curating a look just for that person. So again, with our style boards, we are actually able to do that same thing. We're able to curate a look right from our customer and share that right for her to shop, which is huge. Number 4, social shopping is growing. Again, piggybacking right on the convertible boards for you to shop, she really talked about Instagram is about 10 years old right now, but it's actually the key driver of retail across all industries. So just kind of knowing that we are so aligned with what is on trend. And then the last thing, which ties directly into what Katie and April are going to talk about, is the rise of subscription services is really growing. Really quickly, I'll summarize one more thing. She said that 55% of our business is $60 and under. And then she and Blythe, I believe, both talked about one thing that they saw really with specifically Stella and Dot and some of the key pieces. Our limited edition pieces are so hot. So we're going to see an increased frequency of some of our limited edition pieces. One last thing that Mike and I had a conversation about, he touched on it actually during his talk with the whole group, but this was at Jessica's house too. He talked about Shopify was a $48 billion company now. And for those of you who don't know really what Shopify is, it's just a platform that someone can sell their widget on and actually have an e-commerce platform. And that is growing. And that's basically what Stella and Dot is right now with our new like social e-commerce basically platform, that we now have the opportunity for that platform forever, for Keep, for Stella and Dot, and for different brands that we may want to also include. So more to come on that, but I just kind of wanted to wrap that up as a kind of big picture where we're headed. We are so on trend with where retail is headed, and I think it's just getting ready to explode, and I'm super excited to dive into Ever. So I'm going to leave it to you, Katie, and put you up next.
That was awesome, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Those were awesome tips.
And there's no dogs barking. Can you believe it? So anyway, usually there's always a dog in my view somewhere, but yay.
Me too. Okay, so my name is Katie Kathman, and as Kelly said, I'm so excited to was once a Southern Charm. It kind of actually always was. I started out with Stella and Dot, and then April and I took off with Ever when it started, but we both stayed using it for the personal discount, and now we're excited to rejoin you guys. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Ever, and I don't really want to repeat a lot of what you'll be able to find in SMU. But I wanted to share with you my key phrase that I use, like in a nutshell, when people are like, how is Ever different? I say it's botanical based, but clinical grade. So if you could just remember those words, botanical based, but clinical grade, that kind of sums it up in a nutshell. You do not have to be an expert. You don't have to know things about other brands. People will say, how does it compare to Beauty Counter or Rodan and Fields or whatever? And my go-to with that is April, you're so awesome with your notes. She put it in there. I love it. What Jessica told us like years ago when we very first started, she said, don't feel like you have to be an expert on other lines, and don't feel like you have to put down other lines in order to boost Ever. You can say, I can't really speak to Rodan and Fields because I've never worked for them, and maybe I've never even used them. I don't, but I know that I can talk about what we are, and that we really focus on clean products. You can look up clinical in SMU. It's a term that we actually trademarked. And I do know that it means that clean, good for you ingredients that are clinical grade. And one thing that I don't think Julie talks about a lot, Julie Schoen, who's our vice president of product development, she worked for La Mer, she worked for Chantecaille, like she's worked for these amazing brands. There are a lot of products that never make it to market because they will not put products out that don't have amazing clinical results. And she has even said, like, I've got some stories about that, which I would love to hear being a product junkie, but I think that's great. Like they really truly have to have amazing results in order to even make it to market for us to sell. So one of my biggest takeaways from Hoopla was something Danielle Redner said, and it was, you don't have to be all the things to all the people. And because I really was starting to get overwhelmed about, oh my gosh, how am I going to dive back into both and everything? And she used a couple of different examples. One of them was a pizza, so like you've got your normal go-to pepperoni pizza. When you go home, don't feel like all of a sudden now you have to divide that into 3 and make 3 different kinds of pizzas in one pizza, because you're just tripling the amount of work that you have to do. And instead, think about perhaps still keeping pepperoni but growing it larger. I mean, that's something like that. Like it put me at ease because I thought, okay, I don't have to triple my business. I just expand the margins is kind of what I'm thinking. And then I started thinking about all of the Stella and Dot women and the Keep women and thinking, wow, skincare is probably a lot for you to digest because it's, it can be really big. But so I think my overwhelming message to you all is don't be intimidated. Don't feel like you have to become an expert. The most important thing the most important thing with selling these products is your own personal experience. So if you have not tried the products yet, I think if you are 35 and older and can afford to jump into the Pure Results regimen, I strongly recommend it, because that the regimen is what brings about the most change. And I'm happy to post my change in your skin. Like if you have a customer or yourself and they want to see like, okay, what can ever do for me? I'd say start with the regimen. Take your before and after pictures. This is really important. And I almost didn't do it. And I'm so glad I did. I went into my bathroom. I even did my before and after the same exact time of day with the same light bulb and everything. So it would try to be consistent, and I'll post mine when we're done. And I did them 2 weeks apart using the Pure Results regimen. I think I also was using overnight facial oil. But anyway, it was 2 weeks apart, and the difference that I could see in my skin was unbelievable. And I still use it to this day to show people, and they buy because of it. So if you are curious and can jump into the regimen, I strongly recommend it. Do your before and afters and share your personal experiences. You do not have to know everything. In fact, here, I'm going to show you a trick.
Can you see my glowing skin?
Yes.
I live by the overnight facial, the LSR10, the youthful serum, and also I use that, the little,
Ampules.
yes, I don't really use those as much. So the beauty balm is my favorite, but like naturally my skin, but my esthetician, once she said, your skin is so moisturized, it's not dry up in here anymore. And my esthetician uses some top-notch products. She was like, what are you using?
So that right there, what you just said, that is what sells it.
Right. And I had the most basic skincare regimen ever in life.
Well, and that's exactly what sells it. And I was going to say, if you're looking, so some clients, if they're looking for like a hero product, I think youthful overnight facial oil, because they can really be layered into anything. Lavish is always great, but you know, youthful would probably be my biggest go-to, because for one product, because it's our top seller. It's Ever's top seller. But what I was going to show you, this little trick, oh my gosh, I'm going to give away the fact that I need glasses. So I have so many people who will cheat, so many like other leaders, they'll cheat and they'll say, this product is so great. It's a soft foaming. Okay, I really cannot read this. I'm embarrassed. I need my readers in order to read this, which I don't have. But you get the drift. They hold it in front of their face so that people can see it, and they read off the back of the container. So when people, I mean, I've been doing this now 5 years, and people ask me like, hey, does Refresh have lactic acid in it? And I'll say, I don't know. Let's look it up. And I'd pull up my phone and pull up the ingredient. So don't feel like you have to be an expert. Let's see what else. Yes. Okay. So the color products, like our lip balms and the palettes and Whiplash, those I think would be very easy, especially for Stella and Dot and Keep Girls, to incorporate into like your events, because you can throw them on the table with the display, and they're cute. They're easy to buy. They're not going to be as much. You're not going to earn as much from people buying those as you will from getting hooked on the skincare. But just so you know, there's like an easy option as well, which brings me to the next topic, which is subscribe to save. So this is going to be something that I think is going to be a total game changer for you ladies, because you're not used to this. And we are, in fact, it is killing us that this month we don't have it because of the migration. But it is the cornerstone to our business, is that we have I'd say 95% of all my customers are on Subscribe to Save. And what that is this subscription, as Donna was saying, subscription services are on the rise. And so they won't be new to people. And what I always say is it's kind of a no-brainer. You get 10% off. You get free shipping on all orders over $100. And they even send you a notification email before they process the order, so that if you want to make any changes or if you want to push it out, they just say, click here, and you can delete it, you can cancel the order, you can push it out another month. And so it's super easy. They say, fine, I'll do it. And any given month, I'll have $2,000 on Subscribe to Save orders that are coming in. Now, granted, they don't always process, which is kind of a bummer, because that email people will get and say like, oh, I'll see all of a sudden it'll fall off the list and you're like, oh, but I'm happy that they have the flexibility to be able to cancel that, because I have subscription orders of myself from other products. So I appreciate that notification email. So I highly recommend trying to try to go for all of your orders on Subscribe to Save, and you'll see a difference in your business. The last thing I will just talk about is that that I don't know if a lot of this is mentioned in SMU, but I use it all the time in my Ever talking points, is talking about the fact that we adhere to the European standards. So I feel like my customers tend to kind of be one direction or the other. One direction, they really care about clean beauty. And then I have customers who really don't care at all about clean beauty, and they just want stuff that works. And I'm 48 years old, so I get it. So with the clean beauty is, obviously you can talk about how clean it is, but when people just want something that works, what I talk about is the European standard of ingredients. And you guys can Google and fact check the exact number, but I'll give you a ballpark figure. Basically, in the EU, they have banned 1,300 individual ingredients from any type of personal care product. And in the US, guess how many are banned? Anyone?
Well, but is it like 16 now?
Has it gone up? Because I would imagine maybe it's gone down.
It's literally not been like changed in like 80 years. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like 12 so Google those if you want more specifics, but it's like 1,312. So the whole point of that is that even global brands like Clinique and Clarins and Estee Lauder, they have different distribution centers and lines for products that are coming to the US, because they can pump our products with a bunch of cheap preservatives that's what allows your face cream to be on your shelf for 10 years and still smell lovely 10 years later. So botanicals are more expensive, and sometimes that's a line that gets people. Like if I'd say, botanicals are more expensive to procure and our line is botanical based, and then they're like, oh, really? Well, the European standard, maybe I'll stick with that. So, and all of that is true, but it's just like, finding these different nuggets that resonate with different people. So those are in a nutshell. I didn't want to talk too long, like I said, and I know April is going to share her top tips with you, and specifically about how to share the regimen. But I really recommend, if you have the interest, to go to SMU and do some of the Ever classes, because they're great and you can learn a lot. And if you don't have the interest and you just like want to dabble, you got a Lavish, a Whiplash. We have won 3 Allure Best of Beauty Awards. Our Reveal Peel Pads earned 2 years in a row, and Lavish earned 1. And Jessica just let loose on the Ever page. I don't know if you caught this, April, when she did her live on like Saturday night. that there's something else in that possibly, might win another award. So that's super exciting. So I hope that is helpful to you all. Super excited to be a part of this team and learn from you. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. And then I was going to say too, we have a really efficacious amount of ingredients in the products. Do you remember what she said about youthful? Because I remember Julie just saying like it's ridiculous how many peptides we put in youthful. Like it should be criminal because nobody else puts that much in it, which is another reason why it works so well. Do you remember?
Like the traditional way that other skincare companies do business, that they simply could not afford to put in the percentage of efficacious active ingredients that are in youthful. They couldn't afford it, and that's why they don't do it. And she said it's almost not fair to competitors, the percentage of actives in youthful.
Yep, perfect. So for those of you guys that have not met me yet, I'm April Lakins. I am in Central Virginia, so I'm in Forest, I guess 2 hours from Kelly and Jenny. And I'm a total accidental ever skincare specialist. So I'll just admit, like I never planned on selling ever. I was always going to do Stella and keep doing Stella. You know, life sometimes takes you in totally different directions. You think you're going one way and you're like, next thing you know, you're making a right turn. And so I started using the products because I, was using another brand that was clean and I was literally getting ready to place. I shouldn't even tell you how much the order was. It's obscene. My husband's using it too. And I kept seeing the before and afters of the Ever products. And at first, with the beta, I kept thinking like, oh, they're being so dramatic. But then, the pictures started coming out and I was like, oh, all right, whatever, I'll give it a chance. And ordered it. And within a few days, I started noticing a difference in my skin. And in about, I would say less than a week, my husband, who is like the typical husband, you get your hair done, like he doesn't notice, that sort of thing. I don't know if you guys have a husband like that, but mine is definitely like that. But he noticed, and he literally like a week later, I come around the corner and he's in the master bath, like in all my products, like he's slathering them all over and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, whoa, what are you doing? And so get your man hands out of my products. And so he ended up loving the products too. And I always tell people, like, I feel like he sponsored me because he was like, I want a regimen and you want a regimen. So why don't you just sign up for the discount? So I kind of started as a kidnapper. And like I said, never planned on selling. I did my launch really just to get my money back so that I could go back to doing Stella. But people love the products because they're so amazing. When you actually get them in the hands of people, they'll do the heavy lifting for you. And for those that have used the products, they really are incredible. So I want to talk to you guys. I'll try to be succinct because I've got a large topic on how to layer your income with Ever. And so I kind of felt like I got mobbed at Hoopla because there were so many more like Stella and Keep girls there. And lunch both days, as soon as they figured out, the tables, I was an Ever leader. It was like all about like, how do you share? I thought you guys might want to know some of the tips too. First, for those that are new to Ever, just to give you kind of numbers to think about. And, and again, it's optional. For those of you that are Keep or Stella and Dot, optional if you want to weave in Ever to what you're already doing. But for those of us that are Ever leaders, once we've built up our clientele, we have enjoyed, 2,000 to 3,000 on average each a month in subscribe to save orders. That's a lot. And so if you think about adding that, weaving that into what you're already doing with Stella and Dot, that can be really huge. And as Katie mentioned, the highest value products are always going to be the regimen and the youthful and the skincare products, really because they're replenishable. So, the average order is going to typically, someone will replenish it every 60 days. There's a few things they might need a little bit sooner and a couple, later, like the overnight facial oil. I feel like that thing lasts like 9 months because you just need like a tiny drop or two. So that one I don't typically need 60 days. And then makeup, is perfect for layering at your trunk shows and it's sexier. I tried in the beginning kind of weaving in the skincare to my trunk shows and it's not sexy enough. you know, it's the lipstick and the makeup and that sort of stuff is lavish body butter, but trying to get people excited about skincare when you've got like shiny, sparkly things and like camo bags and all that stuff, it's kind of tricky. So there's 3 ways to give you some ideas of how you can share ever. And you can just kind of think about these and pick which might work best for you or weaving into your life. The first is roaming regimens. They're kind of what we've coined that term at Ever. And this is a little bag that you guys can't get. Sorry, it was one of the ones we could earn in the beginning. But you have lots of really cute bags or the jewelry. I don't know the names yet because I've so not been selling for so long. The jewelry containers that you can put them in, the hang-ons, those sort of things. But you know, be strategic with who you want to reach to. Think about who has skin. I mean, that alone, there's a lot of people in your life, you know, that have skin. Our primary demographics typically are, you know, the mid 35 to 60s, but then we have some products specifically designed for younger clients too. But again, the key is really getting the products in people's hands because it's going to do the heavy work.
If you want to.
Oh, sorry. And then, you know, just keep it simple. So usually I just put the regimen in here, but you could put, you know, the youthful collection if you wanted to. You don't have to put everything in there, but I put full-size products in here. I put, of course, a catalog for them to see. I put, there's these little, I think, Katie, correct me if they're not still in there, but we had these simple step regimens right here where it's like step 1, step 2, step 3. It's got a little cheat sheet for what you do when. That I like to include in there. And then these come in super handy. These little, can you see these? Beauty spatulas that you can get on like Amazon. Really cheap, like, I mean, just a couple bucks. You can get a pack of 100. And so, and a quick note, you know, with them, you know, dropping it off in there. And so reaching out, the kind of the words to say that I said in the beginning, and backing up too, you know, really just the lending the roaming regimen alone, really how I built my whole business. So I ended up triple promoting in 2 months just by doing that. And literally just reached out saying something like, you know, hey, Mary, I thought of you because ... Same way you would, you know, you would use the verbiage you would use for Stella and Dot, like find a reason why you thought of her. I thought of you because, you know, I love your opinion. I'm launching a new skincare line in the area that's clean and it's results driven. It's been so great for my skin. You can tell them why, like parentheses, why my skin's glowing, you know, whatever the reason is. I have a few testers that I'm letting a few select friends try. I would love to hear what you think of the line. I'd really love your opinion. Would you like me to drop it off on Friday at bar class? And so I literally just set a goal and had a calendar, and in the beginning of 2 people a week. And so I would just highlight on my calendar, and it made it easier too to not have to think about like what days and that sort of thing, and weaving into places that I was already going. So I always pick somebody on a Friday to lend it to, and thought about, you know, where are you going to be in town? You know, are you going to be somewhere where you're dropping off your kids? Are you going to a girls' night? Are you going, you know, meeting a girlfriend for coffee? So it's a really easy way to weave it into what you're already doing. It's not really time consuming. And then we'll take
April, one quick sec. You guys, it's going to cut off in less than a minute. Everyone just hop right back on. We've only got probably 7 or 8 minutes left. But I'm dying to hear what April's saying. And then I've got a few notes myself to finish up.
Sure. So what?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you so it didn't cut off and everyone just hop right back on the same link.
Yeah, do we have a 45-minute limit, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, it's 45 minutes for the free Zoom. Okay, yeah.
So I just kept a calendar. I knew on Fridays I was going to get it in somebody's hand for just 2 or 3 days, and then on Tuesdays, and then you know, so that's 2 a week, 8 new people a month. You do that for 2 months or even a quarter, and that's a whole lot of extra customers on top of, you know, your Stella business and what you're already doing. I typically didn't lend more than 2 or 3 nights top. It's enough for them to really experience the products and feel the products on their skin. Obviously, they're not going to see, aside from the youthful eye cream, you know, like amazing results in 2 days, but they'll get a feel for it. And then inevitably, they don't want to give it back to you. And so, you know, when I followed up, you know, you really just need a couple. And I am always very gracious. So, you know, just thanking them, like, thank you so much for trying the products. I really appreciate it. I'm done. favorites were. And then they'll be like, oh, you know what, that eye cream, oh my gosh, so what's that Pump Youthful thing? Like I put that everywhere. I want to put it like on my whole body and blah, 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 blah. And they'll just start talking. And then you just close the deal in the same way that you kind of would with Stella of like, tell me what you feel like your skin, I'll ask them a couple things, what do you use? And you'll ask them just to kind of gauge where they're at. So if it's, you'll hear